What's up, guys? Fat Samurai Guy here with Lady Fat Blood, and we're just going to do a really quick recap with some spoilers. There's going to be spoilers in this, so if you haven't seen Luke Cage, stop this video right now, go binge watch the whole show, and then come right back. But we're going to give a little quick our thoughts, what we liked, what we didn't like, for the Netflix Marvel premiere series of Luke Cage.
Oh, Netflix contributing to people's lethargy and obesity since 2015. Probably earlier than that. Damn, you guys. You guys got way too many shows out there. This is the second show we freaking binge watched. Not counting my personal solo binge watching of Orange is the New Black. Yeah, I finally watched that this year. Good God. But we had Daredevil Season 2 earlier this year, and now we've got Luke Cage. And I dug it.
Yeah, it was good. Mike Coulter as Luke Cage does a great job. I mean, he was like perfect to play this role.
Yeah, as much as I wasn't as rabid a fan of Jessica Jones as a lot of people out there, to each his own, I did feel that Mike Coulter's portrayal of Luke Cage was one of the better elements of that particular series.
One of my main complaints about Jessica Jones, and we were entertained by Jessica Jones, but we did have our issues with the show. But one of my pet peeves on Jessica Jones were the action sequences were very underwhelming, and I didn't really like Luke Cage's fight sequences either in Jessica Jones, because it's fucking Luke Cage, y'all, man. What the fuck? I mean, he need to be knocking people through walls and all that shit. I mean, this is what he needs to do. He's a powerhouse. He's super strong, and he should be kicking ass. And thankfully, in this show, Luke Cage kicks ass. I wanted more action than what was given to us in this show, but the action that was there, I was satisfied with, because it's not, flashy and, obviously we prefer Daredevil's fight sequences because they're fucking amazing. And Punisher on that show was fucking amazing. His action sequences, obviously, Luke Cage is not going to be as flashy as theirs, but I mean, it's fine for what it is because he's a fucking brawler. He's street brawler, so it's fine. So thankfully, he's knocking people through walls, through cars. I mean, there's some good stuff here.
It was infinitely entertaining.
Yes.
To see him flinging people up into ceilings and up against cars and just whee!
With no effort. Slapping people upside the head and then they just fall out.
So this series takes place in basically a really good order. We've already gotten Daredevil Season 1 and 2 and Jessica Jones out of the way. This takes place pretty soon after Daredevil Season 2, I want to say. It takes place in Harlem. I felt they really captured a good essence here. What I've really enjoyed about all of the series, including Jessica Jones, is that each series feels its own thing, but feels also connected to the universe so far. Harlem feels very different than Hell's Kitchen, as it should. They had a lot of really good characters in the series. You had Pop character, which, don't get too attached to him. We had some really good initial villains in Cottonmouth and Mariah. We had another villain named Diamondback eventually show up, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But overall, the feeling and the tone of the series, it really worked, and I look forward to a second season. Now, on to a couple of missteps. Now, this might change. We've only seen it once, and this is our initial reaction. We just got done watching this series yesterday, okay? Literally yesterday, we finally finished episode 13, and now we're just like, our brains are processing all of this information. So I might change my mind in what I consider to be missteps now. In a second viewing or in second season, I might be perfectly okay with the events in the series. My first misstep, I would say, is Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed him as a villain. He had really good motivations.
He was great.
He had a really good backstory. He was really fleshed out. At first, initially, I thought he was going to be a little generic, and then when they started fleshing him out more, I'm like, okay, I'm really digging this guy. And then they kill him.
Yeah.
Episode 6, I want to say, halfway through the series, and he's gone, and it's like, oh, did we just make a mistake?
Yeah.
But at the same time, this show is going to want to establish itself as being different. You know, in season 1 of Daredevil, we had the Kingpin. In season 2 of Daredevil, we had the Hand show up, we had Kingpin show up again, and even though Punisher wasn't a villain, he was a presence throughout the series, for good or bad for Hell's Kitchen. And in Jessica Jones, of course, we had Kilgrave throughout the whole series. And so, would it have been a little too much like Kingpin if Cottonmouth had made it throughout the rest of the series? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Again, on second viewing, and if second season pans out, I might change my mind on this. So Mariah, played by Alfre Woodard, and I find it immensely entertaining that in the Marvel series, we have Alfre Woodard playing a villain, where in DC, in Gotham, we have another lady who is well known by the name of Jada Pinkett Smith. That's the best we can do for our villainry over there. Anyway, that's my opinion. That means absolutely nothing. So we have Alfre Woodard's character Mariah kind of take over, but she's really hesitant. You know, they've got their backstory with Cottonmouth and Mariah. Mariah kills Cottonmouth, and she's kind of the presence, but you've got this character named Shades, and Shades has been whispering in her ear this whole time. And so he's kind of like pulling her strings and getting her set up into place, but she's not really a puppet. You kind of get the feeling that Mariah is one of those characters that just needs a little bit of a nudge, and then she'll get her shit together. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with her in the second season.
Well, it looks like Shades kind of gave her that nudge.
Yeah, in a lot of, she kind of,
He's giving her the gun. It's like, oh, it's old and elegant. And it suits you. Here, take that.
So after Mariah kills Cottonmouth, we finally get Diamondback showing up. And Diamondback has been the guy that you keep hearing about in the background, but you never see him. Well, you finally see him, and he kind of gets his backstory, and you end up finding out that he's Luke Cage's half-brother. And you and I were sitting there kind of waiting for the punch in their backstory. And here's the thing that I feel very split on, because in the last episode of the series, Luke Cage and Diamondback are fighting in the streets, and you get flashbacks of them when they're teenagers fighting in the gym and sparring and, you know, boxing and stuff. I really liked that scene, and I appreciated what they were trying to do with it, but I felt like we didn't know Diamondback enough to have it give us the emotional punch that I think they were trying to go for. It seemed like they got enough of a point across to know why Diamondback was the way he was, but it did feel like we needed that other piece of the puzzle. They kept alluding that Luke Cage had kind of abandoned Diamondback when he needed him. And, you know, again, second viewing, something might click.
Yeah, but it definitely seemed like there was a little bit more to the beef, but we just didn't get that. It just kind of seemed like, well, you know, Daddy liked you more than
Which kind
me.
of find out, Luke Cage, according to Luke Cage, his dad really didn't like him all that much either. But, you know, that's
But in
perception.
terms of what the series showed us about Diamondback, that was kind of like
his perception of life.
Daddy liked you more, and you shouldn't have been born.
He acknowledged you. He wouldn't acknowledge me because, you know, I was a bastard.
Yeah, and then I got sent off to juvie, and then my mother got cancer, and then he abandoned, the father abandoned her, and she ended up dying. And, you know, I get that, but it just seemed like there should be more. For him to go out of his way and, you know, get Justin Hammer's technology, his gun technology, and use some, I guess, alien technology that was found to create these bullets that could penetrate Luke Cage, to go through all of that just to kill Luke Cage, you'd think there would be a little bit more to their beef than, wah, Daddy liked you more. And that's where we think the series, as good as it is, as well done as it is, we kind of, as of right now, like second viewing, you know, maybe we'll be different, but as of right now, we kind of feel that that's where the series kind of falls short a little bit, because Cottonmouth was such a good villain. The actor did such a great job playing this character, and we get a lot of backstory. He's really fleshed out, and we're following this guy the whole time. We know his motivations, we know his backstory, and then, oh, he's dead. And then we bring in some guy that goes, wah, Daddy liked you more. Okay, and it was just kind of like, And in the comic book, Diamondback is, you know, Cage's, you know, main nemesis. So It's fine. I like the actor that played Diamondback. He definitely had that, Clarence Williams III type of vibe. But I enjoyed his performance, and I thought he was fine. It's just the motivations. We needed more. I was waiting. I was like, okay, here we go. They're going to be flashbacking in that last episode when they're fighting each other. Here we go. Now we're going to see why he absolutely hates Cage to the core. And they just show them sparring when they're young, and they show Diamondback as kind of being the good guy and Luke Cage kind of being the dick.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that. Here we go.
Where exactly did Luke Cage fail Diamondback that pissed him off so much? Was it that he let him rot in juvie? I didn't really get that.
I mean, the fight in the theater, the movie theater that they had.
Yeah.
They had a fight in the movie theater. Something was said there between both half brothers. And Luke Cage basically said that I should have been there. He said something like that.
Yeah.
I should have stepped up or something.
What exactly tipped the scale against Diamondback that made him set up Luke Cage to get sent to prison for something that he didn't even do?
Right.
What was it?
That's already enough. But then he had to go get some alien technology bullets.
Yeah.
From Justin Hammer, from Sam Rockwell, from Iron Man 2. He had to go get some alien technology bullets and guns to take this dude out. So maybe in the second season we'll get a little bit more backstory of why he really, really, really hates him. But this small nitpicks though. I like the look of the show. The directing was great. Sometimes we have these really cool, clever transitions from the flashbacks to the present day. Really good directing. Great soundtrack. Definitely has that 70s retro feel.
Yeah, the soundtrack, if the visuals of Harlem and the look of this series does not separate itself enough from Daredevil and Jessica Jones, the soundtrack is just like, it's so 70s.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's a wonderful soundtrack.
It fits.
I even loved that Cottonmouth owned this club, and he had all these singers, like these well-known singers of past and present.
The Delphonics up in there.
Didn't Method Man show up at one point?
Yeah, well, Method Man did.
Not in the club.
No, not in the club.
But just the fact that
these
singers were showing up for this series, it was actually really well thought out. But I have one more pet peeve of this series.
All right.
And it's really sad because I have really liked this character so far in this universe. Rosario Dawson.
Oh.
As Nurse Claire.
Yeah. We love Rosario Dawson.
Really like her in Daredevil.
And we love her character.
Liked her short little stint in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
But if she is not Captain, how convenient in so many ways. And they even gave her this horrible Rocky IV line at the end of the season when Luke is fighting Diamondback. They literally, she's like watching them fight. Everybody's watching them fight in the streets, and the camera comes in on her, and she has this singled out line, "Remember who you are."
Yeah.
You're gonna do it!
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you guys making her this magical entity? And sorry, if she hadn't decided to skip out on Hell's Kitchen after the ninja attack at the hospital at the end of, or at the midway point of Daredevil season 2, Luke Cage would have been dead.
Yeah.
How many times did she say? And I get it.
She saved his life probably several times
She's got a really interesting character development going on right now, where she's been through all this shit in Daredevil and Jessica Jones. She's decided that, there's so many cover-ups, there's so much nefarious bullshit going on with politics and everybody wanting to cover things up. People died that she knew in Daredevil season 2. And so she's decided that, fuck all this. I want, my goal in life is to now, I want to help these superheroes.
Yeah.
I've done it with Daredevil. I've done it with Luke Cage at one point. I want to be able to help these people. And that's a really good direction for her character to go in.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure about her and Luke suddenly developing this relationship.
I'm fine with it.
I'm on the fence with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But if you really know the comics, you know that it doesn't work out. You know that somebody else ends up with somebody else.
Yeah.
And they have a child.
We'll see.
So we'll see if the show
We'll see how
sticks
far.
to the comics or not.
Yeah.
But her and Luke getting together, that was fine.
But somebody I did not have a pet peeve with, but you put an interesting point to her was the Misty Knight character.
Oh yeah, really liked the actress.
Yeah.
She did a really good job playing Misty Knight.
She had an interesting arc going for herself. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she
Talking about the arm,
well, not the arm.
the interrogation scene.
Yeah, she had.
Yeah, I mean, we've followed her. The first time I came across this character was I collected the series called Daughters of the Dragon, and the first time I was just like, oh, this Misty Knight character is pretty cool. So it was cool to see her on this show and in this series, and the actress did a really good job. But you kind of follow her and you get to know her throughout the whole show, and then towards the end, all of a sudden, she's frustrated, she's pissed off. Diamondback almost killed her, took her gun, and she's always used to being in control, and she's not in control. And she was frustrated interrogating Rosario Dawson's character, and she's like choking her out, And then after that, they basically, put her through a program, a rehabilitation program, kind of.
It was more like a psych eval.
Kind of psych eval, yeah. And we spent like the whole episode of just her. And I thought that was a pretty waste of an episode. It's like, because we kind of got to get to know her already, but that psych eval episode, that took up the whole entire episode. And it was kind of like, is this necessary? Is this really needed? We could have got some more of that Diamondback backstory. We could have got a little bit more action or something.
Yeah.
That was one of the weaker episodes. Not bad.
No.
Not bad episode. It was just kind of like, why are we spending this whole entire episode towards the end of the show on her? And at the end of the day, all it was she just had to admit that I wasn't in control, and yeah, I feel bad about it, and now I know what to do next time it happens. And that was it. It was just kind of like, okay.
I mean, from a storytelling point of view and a character development point of view, it was interesting. And again, if this show exceeds at anything, it is, for the most part, delivering really good characters, really well developed characters. For the most part, I'm not saying everybody is flawless, but I really want to go back to Harlem.
Yeah.
I want to see a second season for sure on this. Again, I want to say that any problems I had with this, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the second season is going to come in and kind of beef it up a little bit more and kind of make me forgive the issues that I had with the first season.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Real quick, back to Misty Knight though, before we move on or before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Now, you guys let me know what you think, okay? Now, in the comics, she loses her arm, okay? And then she gets issued a kind of like cybernetic robotic arm, okay? In the comics. In the series, they set it up, okay? Her arm gets fucked up, the artery's cut, they even told her you may lose your arm. I don't know if they got cold feet, or they said, you know what, we don't have the budget for this, or this might be a little bit too weird for this, down-to-earth, gritty type of superhero show. We don't want to go that far. So we're just going to get rid of it. Because the next episode, she's fine.
Yeah.
Her arm is perfectly fine.
They literally even said, because she had ripped open an artery.
Yeah.
Like an artery.
Yeah.
And Rosario Dawson.
She was dying, basically.
Claire comes in and like sews up her artery with dental floss. And she's like, okay, this is going to stop you bleeding out, but it's also going to cut off the circulation to everything from below this point. So if you don't get this taken care of, you're going to, the longer you let it go, the more likely it is that you're going to lose that portion of your arm.
Yeah.
And so she's in a sling. Her arm's in a sling. There's this hostage situation going on, and she doesn't want to leave the vicinity. So the paramedics, she says, whatever you're going to do, you got to do it right here because I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not leaving this place. We never see them actually fix the arm.
Yeah.
She at one point looks like she's really sore, which makes sense because she had damage in her arm. But after that,
that's it. Her arm is perfectly fine.
Which is bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. Daredevil season 2 introduced the fucking hand ninjas.
Yeah.
Elektra got put into the black sky making device. She is coming back from the dead in season 3.
Yeah.
We're gonna have crazy psychotic zombie Elektra at one point. We can handle a fucking robotic arm.
Yeah,
Okay, come on,
I think they got cold feet. Let me know what you guys think. But
Yeah.
because she was fine, arms fine.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of setup for her arm being damaged. It was a lot of setup for will she lose her arm or not?
Yeah.
And then she's fine.
Yeah. You know, it was really adorable.
What?
Power Man.
Oh, that was hilarious. So when he breaks out of prison, when he was getting experimented on, and that's how he got his powers, he had like this headband thing, almost looks like a tiara-like. He had these gauntlets, and he breaks out of prison, and then he steals his clothes, and he's got the goofy yellow shirt and the blue pants with the chain. Looks just like old school, goofy looking Power Man, Luke Cage, and it was funny. Didn't he look at himself in the reflection? He was like, "Man, this is horrible." he's like, yeah, he was like a fool. Took it off. That was great. That was fun.
That was
A lot of fun moments, but Pops, I knew instantly. Once Pops cursed and then turned and was like, "Oops, I cursed. I gotta put money in the swear jar." I was like, "This fool's dead. This fool is dead. He's gonna be the first one to go." But yeah, just really good directing, good soundtrack, great performances.
Another appearance from our resident floater Turk. He came back.
Yes. Turk was
He's
hilarious.
gonna outlive everybody. That horrible armed smuggler.
From Daredevil.
The lovable, terrible person. He's gonna outlive everybody.
He had one of the best lines on the show, though. I mean, he's up there. "Where's my money, man? Where's my money?" And then Cottonmouth goes, "Ooh, this guy over here. This is the guy that promised you money, huh? All right." He grabs him, throws him off the building, and then he goes, "Well, why don't you take your ass down there and get your damn money out of his pockets?" And then Turk, with no expression, no like freaking out or anything, Turk's like, "Man, fuck this. I'm going back to Hell's Kitchen." Y'all crazy. It's hilarious. That was hilarious. So, very entertaining series. We highly recommend you guys check it out. What do you give it? 4?
You know what? I would probably give Daredevil. I know we haven't done the Daredevil.
We will.
discussion.
Sorry, we're late.
Yeah.
Okay, we're late. But life happens.
Yeah.
Work happens.
Yes.
We will be reviewing the Daredevil.
We're just gonna do an all-in-one.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we'll do
a
both
season
seasons.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
It will be.
We will be reviewing it.
It should be
We
at some point
promise.
this month. Okay.
Yes.
I would go high for Daredevil.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would go a little
Super high.
a little lower with season 2 Daredevil.
Yeah.
I want to say the atmosphere killed it for me.
Yeah.
The atmosphere alone, just the feel that I got from this show, I would have to say like 4.4.
Oh wow, 4.4.
I there's something to be said for a good setting.
Yeah.
And a good flavor. And this series had it for me. You know, I spent a long time in Hell's Kitchen with Daredevil season 1 and 2. I've rewatched it a couple of times. I've had it on in the background just to kind of absorb it. And this is completely different. I love that it sets itself apart from it. I really enjoyed it. I hope it gets better.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 4.3 out of 5 stars. So we highly recommend you guys watch it. Netflix binge it.
Yeah, we were lucky because
Get some
apparently
brewskis, get some beer.
Apparently,
pizza.
the weekend this opened, just last weekend, Netflix kept crashing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We lucked out. It didn't crash on us, so.
Yeah. All right, that's it. Let us know what you guys thought of Luke Cage in the comments below. And we see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching.
Share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.